All right, welcome to Muscatine Community College's online student resource fair. We thank everyone for participating. We've got a great round of community resources as well as Muscatine specific resources, specifically to help our students during this time when our campus is remote, our classes are remote, but our services are still here for you. Okay, so our first presentation will be about emergency assistance, which I think can really start us off to let students know just all of the available resources for them. So I will go ahead and share my screen now and make sure that Sabrina, you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Wonderful. And then I will just that over. All right, so you can go ahead and then I will just toggle through as you continue. Okay, Sabrina?
Okay, this is Sabrina Shoemaker. I'm with Muscatine Community College. I am a career navigator, academic advisor for nursing and IT programs on the campus. I also work with high school equivalency students and ELA, English language acquisition students as well. Some things that we wanted to talk about today were we have the Muscatine Community College Foundation has provided some funds to students who are experiencing some difficulty with maybe getting through their classes successfully, reaching their goals. One of the big ones is they've provided us with up to $25,000 to be able to help our students. Those emergency funds are designed to help the students quickly remove any barriers that they may have so that they can focus on their studies through the college and get through their classes successfully. The emergency funds, some different things that we've highlighted. We want to be able to help with car insurance up to 6 months, whether that would be a liability policy or a full coverage policy. What this does is this allows our students to be able to continue working as needed to alleviate that barrier that they may have. Utility assistance, if they are, again, we do have some students who have maybe lost employment, lost income. We want to be able to, again, help alleviate that worry for them and maybe help them with some of their utilities that they're might be having trouble paying. Also with rental assistance, again, it may be beneficial to our students to be able to apply for and receive maybe one month or so to help with their rent. Any car repairs, knowing that a lot of our students are probably still working, being able to help them with any car repairs so that they are able to get back and forth to work successfully. We do also have another component, which is our other. We couldn't necessarily predict every single barrier that a student might have, so we wanted to leave it open. Meaning that if there's a student that feels that there is something that's going to hinder their successful completion, making it to classes, to Zoom classes, we want them to be able to bring that to our attention so that we can determine definitely if that's something that we can assist them with. So every student that we have, we want them to fill out an application if they're really feeling that they need assistance, and every application will be reviewed by our committee. Some terms of the grant: the emergency needs can go up to $700. The checks will be made payable directly to the vendors, and we will not be paying any students directly. Our credit students must complete or have completed the FAFSA and have the results already sent to Muscatine Community College for the current year, for the current school year. So that would be the 2019-2020 school year. Upon approval, grant recipients will be requested to write a thank you letter to the MCC Foundation to just let them know a little bit about how the funds have assisted them in moving forward and focusing on their classes. Eligibility criteria. If you can go to the next page for me, Claire. Thank you. Eligibility criteria, students do need to meet all the criteria below. They must be a current student, must be actively seeking a degree, diploma, certificate at Muscatine Community College or regularly attending our high school equivalency classes or English language acquisition classes. Credit student applicants need to have a completed FAFSA online application with the financial aid office for the current year. They need to not be on financial aid suspension or financial aid ineligibility status. Regardless of, we still want them to fill out an application because we're going to look at every situation on an individual basis, because we know that each student, there could be different reasons why they're on suspension or ineligible status. Our applicants need to be a returning MCC student with a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or higher, or a first-time student, and of course they would not have a GPA at this point yet. How to apply for these services? Students can always reach out to their advisors or their class instructors or any other personnel on the college campus to have the online link sent to them, or we could email the actual application if they would prefer that. And then I have included the online link for the application down below for all students as well. Any questions on the emergency assistance funding that MCC currently has for students? Awesome. Clara, if you can go to the next page for me, please. The other thing I wanted to talk briefly about is the MCC Market, which is a food pantry. Knowing that we may have a lot of students who may be struggling right now getting food for the family, we do have the food pantry. And this is something that continues to even go on outside of the current situation that we're in. It usually and typically operates out of our Gecko Hall building on campus on the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month from noon to 2 p.m. Currently, we are operating this out of the Walnut Baptist Church, which is located at 215 Colorado Street in Muscatine. It is a drive-through service. We actually have students pull up, open their trunks or their hatch, and we put their food in. We try to provide a case of water and a gallon of milk, along with a box of food, and then they're able to just drive off. That way there's no contact with students and they aren't being exposed to any sort of germs or anything like that. The food is donated by the Riverbend Food Bank and staffed by volunteers from Walnut Baptist Church. And we also have Jan Phillips, who is our previous music instructor from the campus. She is overseeing the food bank on the food pantry on the campus. You can reach out to her with any students that you know of that might be in need. Or if you are a student, you're certainly welcome to get in contact with your advisor or any other staff personnel on the campus, and we can get you a referral to that food pantry for the assistance twice per month. So, any questions? Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sabrina.
You bet.
And just like Sabrina emphasized, that is a resource that is all the time for students, but specifically we're making sure that there's efforts for it to be maintained during the current challenge. So we appreciate all the effort, and contact your advisor with any questions for that. Next, we have just some information about unemployment. So it is a challenging time for our workforce development folks. It is very busy, obviously. And so what we did is gather some resources just to let you know, and links to go to. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just a second here. And those links you'll be able to see. All right, can everyone see the links for the workforce development and unemployment? Yes, yay, thank you. So right now, wait times can be long if you're on the phone. Iowa's lines, they just had an update that they don't currently have a tone while you're holding. So you may think that you are not being connected, but you are being connected. So just stay on the line there. I found it really useful to just be connected to their Facebook page, and that link is down there for the Iowa Works Development in Davenport. And they also have, and obviously Davenport, that location serves our community as well. They have their own Facebook page specifically for their regular services as well as COVID-19 updates. We don't currently have any updates from the CARES Act as far as additional assistance or extra monies for unemployment, but everyone who has been affected by this crisis is encouraged to continue to fill out unemployment and file all of that. All right. And so then next we've got Lynn from Family Resources to talk about some counseling options for students during this time, as well as just our continued commitment throughout the school year.
You ready? Okay.
Yes, we are so ready.
You're so ready. I'm really pleased the college was offering free and confidential counseling with me in person, and while that's no longer happening on Wednesdays and Thursdays at the school, arrangements have been made to run for me to moderate a support group of sorts, Monday at 10 o'clock and Thursday at 2 o'clock. So anybody will be invited to just drop in, and Claire's going to take care of all the technological pieces of that. That's certainly not my forte, but counseling is. And I've been doing a lot of phone counseling from my home. So that support group, again, is free for everybody. You can drop in and talk with us about how you're feeling. We can get feedback from other people. Maybe will be leading some exercises or talking a bit about some good coping mechanisms and just encouraging people in general. I believe that's going to be for an hour to an hour and a half. Is that right, Claire?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, great. Anything else you want me to say about the group we're starting? It starts Monday, right?
It does start Monday,
Yeah.
yes. And then that link is available on our resource page at the college. So student resources,
Good.
the link for
Yeah.
that.
I submitted some phone numbers. Some people, some of my clients have really liked talking on the phone, others not so much.
Sure.
So I have given you the numbers that we have for family resources. There is a Muscatine office and a Davenport office. We are doing telehealth, but all of us are trying to get a little more up to speed on being able to also do video. This is a tense time, and I wanted to make sure that we had the domestic violence and sexual assault crisis lines. They also handle survivors and victims of other crimes. So I left the crisis numbers for the Iowa people and the Illinois people, and a toll-free number because you have students from all over. And in fact, if you are calling the police or find yourself at the hospital, need to go to court, there are people who are doing in-person advocacy. So that is still an option there. And I also wanted to include the National Suicide Hotline number. So I'm glad that the students will have access to that.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for including that information there, both for the one-on-one, like you said, telehealth, as well as some other numbers for crisis. So we appreciate your continued commitment to our students, Lynn.
My pleasure.
All right. So after that, we've got Christy from Public Health. It's nice to meet you.
Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah.
All right. I have lots of information to share. So I will start with what's going on inside the walls of the Public Health Department for Muscatine County. We currently have 32 plus team members in the Public Health Department, And we have an incident command structure that we're following daily. We're looking at it and modifying it daily as our needs continue to grow for COVID-19 disease investigation. When somebody is tested positive for COVID-19, those test results go into the Iowa Department of Public Health and come through an Iowa disease surveillance system and come to our local public health department. We then reach out to individuals, and today, as of April 9th of 2020, we have 70 people that we are working with and providing monitoring, investigation, tracing, and surveillance. Typically, all of our staff are pulled into our incident command structure to meet the needs of this pandemic response work. For example, we typically have one community health nurse that does all of our communicable disease investigation, follow-up in regards to TB and other communicable diseases. However, we've had to expand that team now to 8, and they all have to get access to a database with the state for their required reporting. We've had an additional 5 of our social workers move to countermeasure mitigation. They are providing resource navigation. So love that you've always had the resources available to MCC students to meet their needs, or social determinant needs. So that's what these resource navigators are doing specifically for our individuals who have tested positive for COVID-19. And it's impacting basic needs of their households. We have added 3 couriers to our team to assist with deliveries to homes for thermometers and other essential needs as identified by the resource navigation team. For example, cleaning supplies, toiletry, nutrition, education. They're working hard with all of the local food pantry and resources to get them connected to what's already available. But if we have an infant that needs formula, we're going to get that and we're going to drop that off to the families. We've had families who need toilet paper. The entire family is quarantined. They can't leave. And so we're able to pick up some of those things and get them delivered to their home. We have 4 staff assisting with communications to all populations through social media venues and managing our calls coming in from the general public. I continue to manage all media calls, interviews, and some of the businesses as the public information officer for the public health department, and secondary backup for the Trinity Muscatine Hospital. We have 3 staff assisting with finance support structure. We have to monitor and obviously document our time in detail for response and hopefully some reimbursement. The remaining of our staff are delivering telephonic and virtual care to patients in their respective programs, and they're on call to support our primary team serving individuals with COVID-19. Lots of stuff going on in public health. We're doing a lot of work in collaboration throughout the community and appreciate all of the businesses and educational systems and everything that everybody is doing to lead through this, because it truly takes a coordinated and collaborative effort to serve 42,900 people of Muscatine County and all of the county residents that come from other counties. So I wanted to share with you today, we're as public health, we're always trying to get out the education, the facts, not the fear. And so we always, folks I'm sure are tired of hearing it, but I'm always guiding them to the Iowa Department of Public Health website. So I'm going to share my screen with everybody right now and navigate you through that a little bit. Do I have a thumbs up that everybody can see?
Yes, thank you, Krista.
Right. Thanks, Jill.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead. This is, if you go to idph.iowa.gov, this is the website, the main website. This is our one true source and our guiding source as a local public health department. At the top, you'll see a large ribbon that says novel coronavirus. We click on this little hyperlink, and that takes us directly to all the resources that we utilize on a daily basis. Lots of information here, so it can get a little daunting and overwhelming. This page specifically will show you Iowa COVID-19 cases by county. So you'll see, for example, Muscatine County shows 7 positive cases. This is our eastern region. me to do the Zoom. If you go down, you can get other data, demographics, cases by age and gender. I know they're working on maybe some ethnicity and or race to include in that, cases of hospitalization. So a lot of press releases that are on here that you can go through and read. I would like to guide, you know, for your business, obviously, Eastern Iowa Community College and MCC Business and Organizations. There's a great link on here to help guide you with the many questions that come up in trying to navigate this difficult time as a business. There are community resources also on the IDPH website. So for those of you that are navigating the lives of students, that would be a great link right here. If I click on it, you can see some of the community resources that are in there. So a lot of them are their marketing communications, tools and documents. There are COVID-19 in multiple languages. So if you need different documents with facts on them that are printable resources, lots of great information there. I'm gonna keep moving down because the main one I wanna focus on, there's a great one called prevention, and then there's public. Public is one that I've been guiding to folks recently as there's been a lot of talk. It started with the recommendation of the CDC, and then we always wait for it to be released by the Iowa Department of Public Health, but homemade masks for healthcare workers or non-healthcare workers, so the general public. There are mask patterns and designs here that folks can make. Guidance on cloth face coverings for the public. So this is really important. I'm not doing direct patient care, but I have a mask that was made for our hospital. We each got them. Somebody followed those specific mask pattern directions. And we wear these when we have to go out into common places. So wearing a mask is different when you're not a direct patient care person, a direct clinical person. Found myself today doing exactly what I've been guiding people not to, because we're human. You know, you want to mess with the mask and move it, or, you know, get it scooted up, or it fogs up my glasses. It's really important not to touch it because you're cross-contaminating. What the mask really is doing, according to the guidance we received, is if you are asymptomatic, meaning you don't have any symptoms, but you could have COVID-19, and we have definitely seen that in the monitoring that we're doing. It protects you from spreading that on to others by wearing a mask. Ideal is if you have glasses, I would wear them right now, or goggles or other, you can even get fake glasses, wearing the mask. So you're covering your eyes, nose, and mouth. If you have to go out into the public, or you're an essential personnel, or you have to, you know, work at the grocery store, it's really important to keep yourself covered to protect and reduce the spread of this virus. So there's a lot of there's addressing anxiety regarding COVID-19, another great resource here for students, faculty. This is an anxiety-driven time for every single person, no matter what field we are in. Whether we're a student, we're a parent, we're a professional employee, we're welding. This is a scary time and it's difficult to navigate. So there's a lot of great ways to cope with anxiety around this COVID-19 virus and to support each other and reach out to the ones that you love. We just put a press release out today about Easter and Passover, knowing that lots of folks like to gather around with their loved ones on Easter, and we're asking that they please don't. They can do something to this venue similar, do a Zoom meeting with your family, do FaceTime with your family, spend that time connecting with them in different ways. It's vital to the ones that you love. It's difficult for me, so in being vulnerable and transparent, you know, my parents, the last time I was able to hug them was the beginning of February. So it's tough. You know, you want to be able to love on those grandkids or kids or aunts and uncles, but right now we're just asking that you please do not travel anywhere and do not congregate for Thanksgiving or Passover celebrations. So I know that's a lot of information. There's even more that I could give. I could go on and on. As you see, the IDPH website has tons of content for all people, all facets. So please go to that. There's another great website called coronavirus.iowa.gov. It's a little easier to navigate. You don't get quite as lost in all of the details of the PDFs and guidance. It's a simple view of big picture of what's happening throughout our state. So with all of that being said, does anybody have any questions for me?
If no one else does, I'm going to jump in real quick, Christy, because you gave a ton of information. It was really super helpful. Thank you for the reminder of going to our IDPH resources. And as far as prevention goes, what are some of the key things? I'm sure we've all heard it a bunch of times, but just as a reminder, like you said, as we're human, what are some key things for us to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe?
Great question, Claire. Thank you for asking that. So precautions are as you've heard, social distancing. So that means 6 feet away from individuals. So if you have to work together in a place, or you have to be together somewhere, you have to go to the store, try to keep your 6-foot distance from individuals. If you have a cloth mask or something that you can use to cover your nose and mouth, that is fantastic. That would be ideal. Washing your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. So they've been studying the virus, the epidemiologists, the doctors from all over the world, nationally and within the US. The virus can come off of us if we do effective hand washing. I would encourage you to go to the World Health Organization's Facebook page and watch it's their lead doctor, and he does hand washing. It's the most effective hand washing. It's what probably a doctor would do before they go into surgery or a medical procedure. It's pretty extensive, but it's really best practice. The other would be, covering your cough. So if you're 6 feet away, that's good. But when you have a cough or you have a sneeze, still make sure you cover up. You turn away from others, and you tuck your head inside your arm so you don't spray. When we sneeze and cough, the spray travels so far. Those are important things. Cleaning surfaces. And when you come home, first thing you do when you come in your house, take your shoes off at your door, walk to your sink, and wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. That can definitely help reduce bringing anything into your home and around others that you love and care for.
Thank you so much for those reminders.
You're welcome.
If we have other questions at the end, we'll of course get to them. But next we'll move on to our next presenter, Nicole from United Way, a really fantastic resource and partner with Muscatine Community College and the community at large. So Nicole, I believe, yes, you are on. Can you unmute yourself? Or I can unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, so United Way of Muscatine is, we support other nonprofits, and we're kind of the middleman of the nonprofit world here in Muscatine. So we are currently working with MCSA and Salvation Army and Jesus Mission to make sure that we can get food out to folks who are homebound. They're either over 60 or they have an underlying health issue. So how that affects students is if they live with a grandparent maybe, and they should probably not be around other folks, they could also get this food, or if themselves have an underlying health issue. So they can call United Way, MCSA, or Jesus or Salvation Army to get signed up for that. So we have a hot meal being delivered on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and a bag of groceries being delivered on Thursday. So with that, we also are working with lots of other nonprofit agencies. And on our website, unitedwaymuscatine.org, is our resource page. So there's a COVID-19 local services update on there. So you can click on that, and that tells you about all the nonprofits and some of the government places in Muscatine and what they are doing and how they can help. And then there's also a COVID-19 resource tab as well that gives you like some different ways to maybe help with children that are coping through this, practical coping techniques, how to talk to children about the coronavirus. So those are some things that we have as well. And for those students who are healthy and are still would like to help with the pandemic, we are looking for volunteers to help with our delivery service. So you do not enter any buildings and you have no contact with any of the clients. So volunteers would come and they meet outside of Salvation Army. They do go through a health screening, and then they are giving a route of anywhere from 10 to 20 meals that they will drop off at someone's home, go back into their car, and call the client and let them know that their meal is sitting outside for them. We do provide all PPE for them. So we have the glassware, the masks, and gloves. So that will help them as well. So it is a safe volunteer opportunity to help those who should really, really not leave home. So if they're interested in that, they can contact United Way or go to volunteermuscatine.org and look up volunteer opportunities through that as well. There is also on volunteermuscatine.org other volunteer opportunities with the COVID-19 throughout the state. So if maybe they go to MCC, but they live in Davenport or Durant or wherever, there might be opportunities in their area that they live in that are posted there as well. So that is kind of the gist of what United Way is doing right now. The big thing is that resource page on our website and then getting the meals out. Any questions for me?
Thank you so much, Nicole. We'll wait at the end in case folks have additional questions. Thanks so much for being a part of this and for providing such an important service for our community, both for the folks in need as well as for those of us who may be really interested in giving back to our community. So I appreciate that. And then next we have some resources specifically for advising and for students who are really interested in making sure that they're on track during this time. So Lindsay, our transfer advisor, is on the call, I believe.
Yep, I'm here, Claire. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as well. I do serve Eastern Iowa Community Colleges as our Regents Transfer Advisor. So that does mean that I specialize in assisting students with the transfer process to the 3 state universities in Iowa. However, I am able to assist students with any transfer related questions that they have about any other schools that they may be interested in transferring to, because we have a lot of great partnerships with many other private colleges and universities, as well as colleges and universities outside of the state of Iowa. So transfer advising may seem like kind of a strange thing to talk about right now, but I would like to encourage students to not give up on their plans to transfer and go on and complete that bachelor's degree. Continue working with your advisor that you have there at Muscatine Community College. Now is the time to begin thinking about registering for classes for the fall semester. And during that conversation or those appointments, that's a great time to also talk about transfer plans. So I do want to strongly encourage students to continue having those conversations and making those plans for the future. Obviously, campus tours and visits are canceled at this point in time, but many colleges and universities are providing virtual tours. So I encourage students to participate in those. If you need any assistance with anything like that, myself or any of the advisors on campus can assist you with looking for those types of opportunities. We also have a lot of great resources available on our eicc.edu website. If you go to that and you search for transfer information, it's going to take you to our transfer pages where we have transfer guides and agreements listed for many of the colleges and universities that we have partners with. If any students do want to contact me, my email is listed there at the bottom of the slide, and I'd be happy to converse with students by email, and I can also set up a Zoom appointment with someone as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. I appreciate everything that you do to help get our students continue to move forward in their progress. And like you said, this can be a tough time to be thinking about the future because there's a lot of unknowns, but we know that they'll be in good hands as they transfer on to the four-year institution. So thank you so much. Then our next resource that we'd like to highlight is our Success Center and everything that we offer now in order to help students with any additional supplemental resources. We are still here for that. And Jill Holler is on, and I believe is also wanting to share the screen in your presentation. You're still on mute. Sorry, Jill.
Remember that important detail.
What I'm here for.
Okay, so I'll share my screen now. There we go. Okay, so let me start my, there we go. Okay, can we see that okay?
Yeah, that looks great.
All right, so my name is Jill Holler, and I am the coordinator for tutoring and disability resources at MCC. Our tutoring center is called the Success Center, so we refer to it as that. So I'm just going to tell you a bit about these two things and kind of give you some hints on how we can help you during this time where we've all transitioned to online, and it is a little bit different because, of course, I'm used to being there and meeting students' needs in my office and being in the Success Center and physically seeing people come in. So it is different, but we still have a lot of options. So we have 3 options for tutoring right now. So we have Smart Thinking online tutoring, writing consultations via email, and tutoring sessions via Zoom. So those are the 3 things I'm going to talk about here as far as the Success Center is concerned. Okay, so the first one, Smart Thinking Online Tutoring. This is a free for all students. So every student who goes to MCC gets 15 free hours of tutoring, and that is right in Canvas. So it's really easy to access. It's in all of your Canvas courses. It's right on the left-hand menu. So every course you go into will have the Smart Thinking option. And this is why it's a really good option at this time period, because it's already embedded in there and so easy to use. There's expert tutors who have their master's degrees or PhDs in their field, so that's great. Very, very reliable people, and it's accessible anywhere and anytime. So you can submit something at midnight if you want to, and they probably won't read it till the next morning, but you can submit it and get it out there. So a lot of us aren't that familiar with Smart Thinking online tutoring because we've relied on the tutoring center at the school, the physical location. But at this time, it's a really great option. And so I've just showed you here, this is kind of what it looks like in your Canvas courses. On the left, the menu, you can see I've circled Smart Thinking Online Tutoring. You just click on that tab in any of your courses and it'll take you there. So it'll pull up something like this. This is just a screenshot I took on my phone. So you could even access this from your phone. So there's different easy options in Canvas. You can drop in or make an appointment with a tutor. You can submit your writing. You could submit a question you have. And then you can review your sessions and all the submissions that you've done in the past. And you just click on the one you want and it leads you through the process. So if you can navigate Canvas, you can navigate Smart Thinking Tutoring. And on this page, I just put some video tutorials. So if you're kind of scared about trying it, these will show you what it looks like. They're very short. There's an overview. It shows the different ways to get writing help. So those are just links that you might want to check out if you are setting up an appointment and you want to get familiar with it. Okay, so that's Smart Thinking Online Tutoring. Our next option is to have a writing consultation via email. So you can still email MCC Success Center at eicc.edu to submit your essay, whatever piece of writing you're doing, for review. It's really important that you don't forget to attach your assignment sheet so we know what the assignment is, because it's very hard to look over an essay if you don't know the assignment. So once you submit that, then a peer tutor will look at it and email his or her comments back to you using the comment function in Word, which is basically, it's going to look like little comments. They'll highlight something and write comments. So it's a pretty good way to get some feedback, and maybe some of your instructors already do that. Zoom tutoring is another option we have, and that you can also, again, email MCC Success Center to request a 40-minute Zoom meeting. So this will be like what we're doing now, live remote tutoring. Well, you will set up an appointment time with the tutor, and then the tutor will send you an access code, which you'll join the meeting, and then you can talk in person. So those are options for tutoring. Lastly, here we have some information about disability resources. If you have accommodations at college, I've probably already met with you. But if you haven't had accommodations set up, but you think you need them, if you have a documented disability, please reach out to me. The email address is here on the screen, MCC Disability Resources at eicc.edu. Even if you're not sure if you would qualify, you can still meet with me and we can talk about it. If you already have accommodations in place and those have been affected by this transition, we can talk about finding possible solutions to that. So I think, a lot of you already have your accommodations in place. If you're having troubles with them now, please let me know, because there are probably things we can do to make things better. These are just some links about disability resources at EICC. The first is just written a document about disability resources, and the second was a video that Marsha Larson, who is the Disability Resources Coordinator at Clinton, did a few years ago, and just gives an overview of what disability resources is. So that's another good source. So I wanted to share those with you. Should I go through my tips? Do we have time, Claire?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
So in addition to being the Disability Resources Coordinator and the Tutoring Center Coordinator, I'm also an instructor. So I understand what students are going through right now with this shift, because I've also had to shift to online. One thing that's really kept me connected so well to my students is the Canvas app. So it looks just like this image you see. You just go to your app store and you get that app. It's free. And it's helped me stay connected at all times to my students' emails. All my students get my updates. Every time I post something, they're seeing it. So if you don't ever want to miss an email from your instructor, get this app. If you want to stay informed about due dates, please get this app. It's been probably the best thing for this transition as far as staying communicated. Also, another tip for online learning, just be patient with yourself and others. So you and your instructors are encountering lots of new things. And I always tell my students it's okay to make a mistake. I'm going to be really forgiving because I'm also making mistakes. So just talk honestly to them about your problems. I found that if students reach out to me, I'm more than willing to work with them. And I think most teachers feel the same way. Another tip is just to try to manage your time even better than you ever have. Create to-do lists. I do this every day, and then I transfer the things I have not completed onto the next page. You could use a planner an online or print planner. Check the calendar in Canvas all the time so you can see what the due dates are. This helps my students a lot. And set aside class time that works with your new schedule. So your schedule's changed a lot probably. And maybe you have kids at home like I do, and I have to find times that are going to work, or locations that are going to work, you know, so I'm going to find the places that I can have some quiet. Actively participate. So my students have told me that it's really it's a temptation to just become passive and not kind of act like it's extended spring break. And but try to avoid that. Become an active participant online. Take charge of your learning. Do things on your own, even if the instructor's not requiring anything to help your learning. And again, use the support systems that we have, which is what this virtual fair is about. Tutoring, counseling, advising. Contact Canvas support. They're really helpful. I contact them all the time. And more, all of the things we've talked about today. Lastly, reflect on what you're learning from this experience, because my students, I think, have realized that they're doing things they've never done before and things that they thought they couldn't do, but they're doing them. And so they feel like they're learning things, even though it's somewhat difficult. They're learning a lot of things. So I just tell my students, celebrate your accomplishments, because you're gaining a lot of experience from this situation, even if it's hard. I think we're going to all learn a lot. So I think that's it. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to let me know. All right, I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thanks so much, Jill. That's a very helpful perspective you have as both a success center, but also as an instructor. So thank you. I think we will go ahead and move to financial aid and then circle back to library at the very end. So Lynn, are you here? Yes, it looks like.
I'm here.
And then I will share your PowerPoint that you sent to me, and then I'll just go through it as you're talking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, dun, dun. Let me see. Sorry about that. I know it's here. Here we go. Go ahead and introduce yourself as I'm getting this up.
As Claire said, I'm Lynn Longstreth. I'm the financial aid officer at MCC. I do have a co-worker. His name is Bill. And between the two of us, we are keeping everything continuing to work just like it did as we were on campus. We are posting refunds weekly. We are bringing in FATers or FAFSAs every week. We are bringing in the 1920 and 2021. However, we are still getting everything done in the background for the 2021 FAFSA, so you will not see any of that information yet. Can you go to slide 2?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This slide is going to show the students where they need to go for their self-service, and we no longer send out our required documentation for needed information on the FAFSA. You can see here that you need to log into your EICC Connect, use your username and password, and that's found on eBridge. Once you get on there, you go to students and then financial aid. Once we get the 2021 year in there, you will have to pick what year you're looking at. This year, we obviously was the first year that we started running, so we only have the 1920 on there. You'll click on that, and that's going to show you what information you need to get to us in order to get you awarded. It's also going to show you your award letter. This is also going to be the page that you're going to see if you're on suspension, what you need to do to get off of suspension. This is also the page when you get awarded where you do your loan steps if you need loans. There's 3 steps in order to do a loan. You have to tell us how much you want, and then you have to do a master promissory note and an entrance counseling exam as of right now. Can you go back to the bottom of 2? That's fine. Okay. As you can see on the bottom there, it tells you what all you can find on this page. A lot of students are needing their award letter printed off for third-party recipients. Some scholarships require it, and things. So this is where you would go to find that. Now you can go to the next slide. Just make sure that you get your FAFSA filed. Right now is when we would normally be helping a lot of students do the 2021. That was available October 1st of last year, so you can still go on and do that. We need to have all paperwork completed and to us for the fall term by July 15th in order to be ready to go for the fall term. Obviously, the spring term has already started, and that was needed by December 1st. So if you have not been awarded by now and you just have done your FAFSA, you can still submit the information. We're processing as soon as we can. If you have to turn in documents, you can also do that on the self-service in the Dropbox. For summer awarding, it all needs to be to us by May 1st. Again, you can get that information to us on the self-service. Don't forget to apply for scholarships. I know that a lot of scholarship places are extending their deadline so that others can get in due to the situation. And then lastly, I just have on there how you can get a hold of us if you have questions. Typically our office hours are 8 to 5. We are working remotely 8 to 5. We are answering the phone when it calls in at the 563-288-6060 from 10 to 2. One of us is always manning that phone line. We can retrieve voicemails off of that line and our other lines that we have. So if you can't get a hold of us, we can't answer, please leave a voicemail. The best way to contact us would be to our MCC FinAid email address. That goes to both of us also, and that would get the quickest response, obviously, when we have time to work in between reports, and that we check that quite frequently. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Lynn. So again, just a reminder, yes, there are deadlines, but as soon as you have the information, get that out on self-service, and Lynn and Bill are fantastic resources to get any questions answered. And I hope that the main thing everyone has heard during our time here is simply that we're still here, right? And so we have plenty of resources. We are remote, but we are here to support student success. I will go ahead and just wait a few minutes and see if there are any questions, even from community providers or staff, about anything that's come up that might be useful for anyone listening. So I'll try to practice good teacher skills and give some wait time for thoughts. It feels like a lifetime. You're supposed to give like 15 seconds, right, Jill? Maybe 30, I don't know, but it feels like forever. All right, well, we are gonna go ahead and end our session here. This will be made available so that staff as well as students can see it. Oh, Stephanie is reminding me of something, folks. Oh yeah, Stephanie, I do have the library information to share. See, and this is why we make sure to have all of our different staff members with different skills. So I will go ahead and show that library information again. Since our buildings are closed, some people may get the wrong impression that we don't have any services, but the library staff, just like the rest of us, are still open and here to serve. So I will share that. The one thing that I'd like everybody to know is the contact information. It's here. So again, we're answering phones. We can return messages. So www.eicc.edu/library is the library website. The Assistant Dean of Library Services here at MCC is Nancy. She can be reached by email is the best way right now, but you can still call the library number. And then also I think one thing that she included here, which I think is just so useful that I didn't actually know about, is that there's some extra help in student resources due to the coronavirus, specifically geared towards the library. So things that maybe you didn't need before, but now that you are studying remotely, some things that could be useful. So again, our coronavirus website with student resources, but specifically for the library. Again, we also have e-resources. When you connect to EICC, you'll have library and then electronic resources, okay? If this is your first time utilizing these electronic resources, you may want some help and some guidance, and that is what we're here to help you with. So please feel free to reach out to Nancy or Renee and make sure that you get any of your questions answered, okay? Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that reminder. That is fantastic. All right, now that I've actually had all of our resources here, again, thank you to all of the community partners here, as well as our internal resources. We really appreciate all of your assistance in pulling this together. It was a very last minute ask, I know, and so I appreciate your time. Please reach out, whether you're staff, community, or students, with any questions. We are definitely here for you. All right, and we look forward to seeing you again in person when it's safe. For the time being, take care.